All right. So everybody that's listening, if you're a first timer on the podcasting, like, subscribe, share. If you're listening to us on one of the radio shows, we do greatly appreciate that. We have a returning guest, the great, the one and only Dr. Hadar. She is the director of functional medicine at the Wellness Company. If you don't know anything about the Wellness Company, you should, because they're about to release another bioweapon fairly soon. So you should jump on that and look at spike support, whether you had an issue with COVID-19 and the VAX or you didn't. You should look at spike support. Also look at the emergency medical kit. They have all kinds of prescriptions. There's all kinds of other stuff on the Wellness Company, such as nutraceuticals. Definitely something to look into. And if you do go to twc.health/fire, FIRE, you do get 10% off on anything on the website. And you can also find Dr. Hadar at thevibrantglow.com, thevibrantglow.com. That was a mouthful, and I almost stuttered and fumbled through some of it, Dr. Hadar, but thanks so much for putting up with me and coming back on again.
Yeah, thank you for having me back here.
Right. And it's really important because we have seen through the past 4 years, and you dealing with functional medicine, what's going on in the regular medical system, the gaslighting. I personally been through this, and also them pushing medical treatments that are not necessarily good for the majority of the population. As a person that's been with the Wellness Company for quite some time now and the director of functional medicine, have you been seeing a big rush of people to more so go towards functional medicine than kind of going the traditional route?
Yeah, so I've seen a big awakening in the last few years, especially in the last couple of years after the VAX has come around and has really destroyed lives for so many. And I still people wake up more and more to the truth, but also to, alternative or more holistic routes and treatments. And not only to help strengthen immunity, right, but also help treat side effects and damages of treatments that were given that were forced on people. So whether it be, obviously supplements, just like you said, the spike support from the Wellness Company, which I take. I'm not jabbed, but I take it every day. I love it. It helps protect you from shedding or anyone who is around you who is jabbed, and also help my immune system and helps just protect me because we all had been exposed to the COVID, unfortunately, or those who have been jabbed, unfortunately, we all have been exposed and around. So taking care of yourself, taking care of your immune system is really key, and taking whether it's Z-Stack from Zelenko Labs, whether it's spike support, vitamins like Z-Stack has, so quercetin, vitamin D, vitamin C, zinc, right? Things like that that really help your immune system, which is the core, which you always want to focus on no matter what. Because if you have a strong immunity, you can fight pretty much everything and anything, right? So that's what I've seen. I've seen people are waking up, turning into alternative methods, turning into the Wellness Company, asking us for guidance as well, because they know we've been around spreading truth and not forcing anything that's bad for you, right? Just offering proper supplementations, medical kits, like you mentioned, things like that. So definitely more and more people are turning into holistic.
Well, listen, everybody that's involved with the Wellness Company was correct on what happened just 4 years ago. They
Right.
were seeing the light before the majority of these other doctors are seeing the light now. Some of them are still not seeing the light. I see these doctors all the time that kind of just
Right.
make fun of you, but about this. But I want to talk even deeper into this because you just spoke about functional medicine, and obviously there's a lot of people injured around the country, not to mention around the world. As far as functional medicine, what are you, and everybody is different, so it's not a one size fits all approach for people listening to this, but what are you seeing for people that are injured with the VAX of what they should use and look into, besides obviously the spike support and vitamin D, C, zinc, the list goes on and on.
Yeah, so unfortunately, those who have been jabbed with the VAX can be obviously exposed to the toxins and the spike protein in that. But what happens is we've seen a lot of neurological disorders, autoimmune disorders, strokes, heart disease, cancers. We've seen it all. And what you can do if you have been jabbed is the following. Obviously, get on the spike support. That's number one. Number two, stop getting any jabs. Stop getting toxins in your body, right? That common sense has to make sense, right? So avoid those. And then make sure you are on par with number one, your sleep. So make sure you get 8 to 9 hours. And I mean, not just 7, not just 6, not 5, 8 to 9. 9 is really ideal. If you're getting 8 to 9, you're good. You're doing your body a justice, and your body can heal when you sleep enough, right? Make sure you hydrate plenty. So get started with your day with lemon water, lime or lemon water, warm. You always want to hydrate your body. If you're not hydrating enough, you're not able to also detox and heal. So make sure you hydrate throughout the day. Start your day with hydration as well. Make sure your bowel movements, right, are on par, in a sense of make sure you do poop every day, once to twice a day, good amount, not just little pebbles. That's not considered enough. You want to have good, solid, well-formed, as we call it, bowel movements. Because if you don't poop, guess what? You don't detox, right? And if you can't detox, guess what? You're literally going to be full of shit.
Well, besides pooping, just to interject
Right.
quickly, Doc, something that you do very consistently, I do also, is get outside in that vitamin D and run
That
like
was
a
my next
deer,
one.
work
Yeah,
out. Go ahead, Doc.
that was my next one. Exactly. But I just wanted to make sure that people are literally not full of shit, right? Not they are pooping because otherwise they're full of toxins. And the next one, of course, start today after you've done your lemon, after you've been in the bathroom, after you're hydrating and getting yourself some good supplements, which we'll talk about. Get outside, get in the sun, go exercise. I just did a beach run, right? Middle of the day or morning or whenever. Go sweat. Go get those sun rays and sunlight exposed in your eyes, on your skin, in your body, and move your body and sweat. If you're not sweating, also, you're not detoxing properly. So you want to make sure you're sweating. So sleep, exercise, sweating, bowel movements, hydration, supplementation, we'll talk about that. Also, if you're not able to sweat enough, get in a sauna. You can get in an infrared sauna or a regular sauna. You definitely want to get yourself in a sauna. Okay. Next, let's talk about supplements. So really important supplementations for immune support to not only help your body strengthen immunity, but also help you detox, because you constantly want to detox, whether you have been jabbed or not, especially if you're jabbed injured, right? So make sure you're detoxing properly and regularly. So some of the supplements that I like for immune support and detoxification are high dosages of vitamin C. So liposomic vitamin C are my favorite. So you can take anywhere from 1,000 to 5 or 10,000 milligrams a day. Depends how much you want to put, but you won't have diarrhea necessarily if you're getting liposomal vitamin C. That's going to help be absorbed in your body properly. You also want to do vitamin D, at least 5,000 IUs to 10,000 IUs with K. So you want to make sure it's synergistically together. D3, K2, and vitamin C. And then zinc. You want to make sure you take zinc. 30 milligrams a day is a good amount. Is it milligrams or micrograms? Let me see. I think it's milligrams. Yep, 30 milligrams. So you want to make sure you have enough zinc. You want to make sure you get quercetin. And of course, NAC, which is N-acetyl-L-cysteine as well. And then glutathione, right? Which is also the master of all antioxidants, which is detoxifying, but also great for your immune system and detoxes the liver. And I mean, there's so many supplements I can go on, but get the basics from what I've mentioned.
When we talk about NAC, I've heard of this new supplement. It's not really new, it's kind of NAC, but it's called augmented NAC. You know anything about that? I keep hearing that with people that have the injury
Did
to
you say
take this.
augmented?
Augmented NAC.
Never heard of augmented NAC.
All right, we'll move on. Maybe it's just
I know
me.
it is N-acetyl-cysteine as is a great precursor for
Right.
glutathione as well. There's NAD, NR, there's so many. of those as well. But yeah.
Well, I want to get into this because you had a story and I follow you on Instagram. I do hope people follow you on Instagram. We'll put that in the description. And as far as if people are watching this on one of the podcasting sites or listening to this, I hope they follow you because you do bring out a lot of valuable
Thank
information
you.
in your stories and also on Instagram in general. You did a story yesterday about neural therapy injections, and this kind of fit with me because I do know a lot of people that got injured from the VAX, and they do have issues with the autonomic nervous system and have issues with POTS.
Yeah.
Would that help somebody that has POTS or has issues with that autonomic nervous system, these injections?
It can. And by the way, I forgot to mention also, back to the detox, make sure you heal your gut. Your gut
Mm.
is also immune system. 80% of your immune system is supported in the gut, right? So it started in the gut. So make sure you take care of your gut, and probiotics and stuff like that to add to your daily regimen. Um, when it comes to POTS, which is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, and all this, heart, blood pressure, stuff like that, neural therapy can help because it helps your autonomic nervous system. It helps balance your autonomic nervous system. So, a lot of the autonomic functions in your body are supported by and controlled by autonomic nervous system, which you can't really control. But it's automatic, right? So if your autonomic nervous system is in balance, actually, if it's not in balance, neural therapy can definitely help bring it back into balance. Okay, so if it comes to scars, let's say, or scar tissue or cysts and stuff like that, neural therapy can help remove the stagnation, remove the scar tissue, remove the scars, heal your autonomic nervous system, literally send signals to the body to heal. With POTS, I mean, you can help the nervous system, you can help the autonomic nervous system, you can help it. So I don't see why it wouldn't help it. I mean, it's not something that I would necessarily just prescribe that for just that. Obviously, there are other things that you have to look into. You got to make sure your heart is okay as well, and your blood pressure is under control. And if it's not, there's so many ways to control it, if it's too high or too low. So, you really have to look at the root cause, what's going on, what are your symptoms, etc. So,
I was just bringing that up because I know you had that in your story, and I thought that would
yeah.
help a lot of people hearing about that that are injured that listen to this program. And just kind of cap off, you did talk about castor oil too, and we talk about detoxing. I think that's also great to do, and I've heard a lot of great things, not just from listening to you, but
Right.
also from other functional
Mhm.
medicine people that I've talked to and watched too.
Yeah, castor oil is by far one of my favorites. I've been using it every single night before bed, or sometimes during the day. But what I do is you also can help your body detox by taking castor oil, and you can take the glass one from, we carry it actually. Um, and you can take the glass one and you can apply castor oil on your liver, which is found on the right side below your ribs, right? So on your liver, on your abdomen, on any scars or scar tissue or pain. You can apply it on your face. You can apply it below on your eyelids. You can apply it in so many places, and I apply it daily before bed. And then you can apply it on your liver and wrap it with the liver wrap, or you can put an infrared heat on it to help further detox your liver. It's really, really helpful.
Yeah, and I
Mhm.
do recommend people look into that because, as Dr. Daw said, she uses it, and I've heard of many people that use it and have great success. Again, for people that are just tuning in, Dr. Hadar, she is the director of functional medicine with the wellness company. It is twc.health. If you slash raw, I mean fire on there, excuse me, it used to be Rob, fire for 10% off spike support, any of the nutraceuticals, the medical emergency kit, the list goes on and on. Also, the castor oil that we were just speaking about. You can also find more about Dr. Dar at thevibrantglow.com. Again, thevibrantglow.com. As we move into more of the COVID aspect of the interview, there is a new variant called Flirt that's out in the US right now. Should people even be worried about this? Most people in the US have got COVID in general. They're pretty much fine, correct?
100%. This flirt, which is two variants combined together, they're flirting with each other, hence flirt. You really have nothing to worry about. It's just another regular cold, as they've, classified it now. There's been so much sham and scam with this whole COVID stuff, and especially now, putting Fauci on a stand, and he's been testifying, and most of his testimonial was, I can't recall, I can't remember. We know exactly what he knows and how much lies he's been, trying to avoid because he's under oath. But my goodness, you really have nothing to worry about. Just take care of your immune system. Now they're on to the next thing with bird flu and trying to get the next pandemic, as I call it, planned epidemic or planned pandemic, but you really have nothing to worry about. Again, take care of your immune system. That's your ABC. That's your number one thing to do always.
Are you worried about this bird flu? They're talking about already pushing an mRNA vaccine. As far as that, they're studying it. And we do, again, as we are awakened and the people that listen to this are woke, a lot of people are not. There is still that 10 to 15% of the country that's still getting the COVID jabs. People still wearing masks. I see it around Florida. I see it, when I travel to other places besides the state of Florida. It's really ridiculous. So should we be worried that there's still a problem, even if it's just 10 to 15%? Because as you stated, that spike protein just runs rabid. Doesn't matter if you're not jabbed or not.
Yeah, unfortunately. They already had the jab prepped before they came out with bird flu. So they're always making the cure before they create the disease. And unfortunately, gain of function research, which is well known to have been done and still is taking place, unfortunately, in biolabs. And that's because they know what they're doing. They are creating these more lethal virus. They're trying to make it human to human contagious. They're trying to make it so it's really contagious and lethal, and that we would freak out. And they already have another mRNA in place. Don't worry, they have it. You should worry if you're in line to getting it. Obviously, no one should. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about any of that necessarily. Just be prepared. Get your emergency medical kits to have on hand. Be aware, be awake, don't comply. Like I say, just do your homework, prepare your immune system for anything, and don't worry about this bird flu. It can literally be, yeah, it's been around for a long time. It can be lethal, it can be detrimental. But if you're not dealing with cattle, if you're not dealing with infected cattle, and by the way, all these PCR testing, we've seen 97% false positive. So even if they say it's positive, guess what? Most of it is false positive.
They had videos
And they're
of
trying to take away our food and kettles and kill them. And it's horrible what's going on. We've seen a big fire with all chickens. A fire, random fire, right? I think not.
well, they were even doing with the PCR, they were rubbing it on apples and other fruit, and it was
Goat
testing
and
positive.
kiwi, or yeah, exactly. Papaya. It's such sham. Come on.
It's really sad and disgusting. But do you feel like one of the few good things to come out of this? I call it hysteria. I call it the liberal hysteria. It's unfortunate that we have to bring politics into it, but it is the liberal hysteria. That's what really went on the past 4 years. But do you feel like the one good thing to really come out of this with this jab is that a lot of people have woken up. A lot of people are not giving their kids the childhood jabs, and that will hopefully make them as healthy as possible. Obviously, they're still putting things in the air. There's still pesticides on foods. The list goes on and on. But that might be the one good thing. Do you agree?
I'm sorry, say that again. You cut out.
Oh,
I,
sorry.
I think I heard
Uh,
part of it. Mhm.
Oh yeah, no problem. So I guess I was just stating that the one good thing to come out of this COVID crisis was that a lot of people have woken up and that they're not giving their kids the childhood jabs. And I feel like, that's the one good thing. There is still pesticides in the air, still pesticides on the food, but we can take that one good thing out of this, that people
Yeah.
are not giving their kids these dangerous jabs that some of them create, unfortunately, very serious diseases such as autism, we've heard.
Yeah, I agree. So a lot of parents who have woken up are have stopped altogether giving their children those childhood jabs that are extremely dangerous, not scientifically studied, never for safety or efficacy, never for the schedule of the CDC. So that's, I think there are a few positive things that came out, silver lining, definitely that people are waking up and they're not giving their kids those jabs unless they're really brainwashed still and they are getting jabs and they're still giving them and they're like, oh, they're fine, they're safe. If they're this, they're not going to stop. But if they're like, wait, what did you say? And I think there's something in here, let me research. And I've seen it on my Instagram and everywhere where people are like, I stopped jabbing them. I've started seeing what's really going on. And now I'm smarter and now I'm not doing it anymore. So that's definitely for the better of humanity, of parents, of children. And we've seen, I believe it's been through 2020, 2021, where SIDS have gone down a lot and other, childhood children not getting as sick or SIDS, like I said, because they're not jabbing them because no one went to the doctor.
Well, we've seen the rise in asthma, other issues as far as obesity. I mean, this country is the sickest it's ever
Oh,
been
that's been the
in its
worst. Yeah.
history.
When people
And the
are jabbing.
problem is, and this is what I want to get to with the autism epidemic, where we're seeing 1 out of 32 kids have autism. How is that going to help our country as far as jobs, with the workforce, as far as defense and securing the nation, when you have all these kids that have chronic diseases? I want to get to this with you, though, Doc. As
Mhm.
far as the autism epidemic, is there a way that we can help these kids? Because it is 1 out of 32. And again, it could get worse. I know a lot of people, as you said, have woken up. They're not giving their kids these jabs, but a lot of people still haven't seen the light and they're still playing into this game of big pharma.
Yeah, unfortunately, when it comes to autism, unless you're really catching it early and it's not as severe, there's a lot you can do to help with detoxing, right? Because what happens is if you're a baby, you're born, you're getting those jabs. In the jabs, as we know, there's heavy metals like aluminum, thimerosal, mainly aluminum, and then there are other heavy metals. There's polysorbate, 20 and 80, which are surfactants. They open your blood-brain barrier. So then you have obviously aborted fetus cells, canine kidney cells, monkey cells, like all kinds of animals and human cells that are in those jabs. And then you have the heavy metals, adjuvants, polysorbate surfactants. So you have the heavy metals, you have those blood-brain barrier openers like the surfactants, you have the heavy metals, you have your brain, you get the jab. Heavy metals, blood-brain barrier is open. Those heavy metals are infiltrating, opening up, getting into your brain, giving your child encephalomegaly, right? So where your brain is swollen, which can then lead to autism, obviously death, different, neurological problems, where you see babies are banging their head against a wall, crying because their brain hurts. It's swollen, right? And that's where we're seeing babies are getting more and more sick and autism and things like that. And unless you're really detoxing the child properly, and I mean really properly with zeolite, binders, chlorella, humic fulvic acid, different things to really help detox your brain and detox your body and your blood, you're not going to be able to help them. So unless you really detox and you really have to get on it. But even then, we've seen success with treating some. But if it's too late, it's too late. But it's never too late to start treating anyways and start
Right.
detoxing. But you really want to just avoid it because once you've done it, you can't go back. You cannot reverse.
Well, we've seen this in, as far as the vaccine schedule, back in 1989, where this really hightailed extremely high from, very small amount of vaccines over to 70, 80. I think it's even close to, 80-ish, 90 right now. It's really disgusting what's going on as far as the medical trust in our country. I want to get into the last two questions
Mhm.
as far as the audience questions, and then we'll kind of get, ready to end it there. But Dr. Dar, you know, as a person that used to be very far to the left, and then, during COVID, I woke up I saw the light. A lot of the people I was friends with, whether they were friends or family that were lefties, were the ones that made fun of me, gaslit me. They didn't believe what was going on as far as the COVID injuries go. And I kind of drifted away. And you kind of see what the hell is really going on in the country, not just with COVID, but with the immigration, with the wars. The list goes on and on. My question to you is, as a person that used to like Donald Trump, and I know you're a fan, and this is why I have a question for you about this, because I saw your Instagram a day or two
I
ago.
love Kennedy too. I love Kennedy. I think he's
Right.
great.
And
I love
listen,
his
I
stance
would
and
vote for
jabs.
Donald Trump. But my problem is again, what we all probably have a problem with Donald Trump about is what he did with COVID. And he still will not go against what happened with the VAX. He says that Operation Warp Speed was a success. He saved millions of lives, and that he's been going around. We have the tapes, it's on YouTube. They have him running around saying the VAX was the best thing since butter and bread. It's so great. And all the people that I personally know, and I'm sure you know a lot of these same people too, in his base, people that you personally work with, have spoke to President Trump's people and said, this is not a winning issue. Why do you consistently keep saying this? And he will not move away from this. So that's why I'm with Kennedy. Again, not that I agree with everything that he agrees, that he's for, rather, excuse me. But as far as the medical freedom goes, he is 100% spot on. And I agree with them 100% there. And again, this is my life. It's been taken from me somewhat due to this and due to me putting faith in the government and the medical institutions. And he's been talking the talk about this, not just since 2020, but way before it. So, I have to ask you this because I talked to a lot of people with Trump that like Trump about this. How can you support somebody that is going against basically what you say daily in interviews and to your patients?
They all, and I mean everyone in that Oval House are corrupt, but never mind.
That's true.
They all were, let's just say that Fauci ouchie was
Yeah.
commanding and literally, if Trump was to disagree, in my opinion, right, and unfollow everything he said, he would probably have been assassinated. I don't know.
But there were people like Dr. Scott Atlas that were in the White House. They were talking straight about this.
Listen,
There
I'm not
was,
a White House person and I'm not a politician, right? I'm a
yeah,
holistic doctor. I like Trump because he does wonderful things other than a few things. He has a bad mouth, he can talk whatever, but he walks his talk. He does follow what he says. And for me, being from Israel too,
right.
he is very
That's
much
fair.
a supporter of the Jewish state and Israelis and Jewish people. And so no matter what, all the other presidents hated Israel, especially the current one and the previous one who runs the country behind scenes, as you know who I'm talking about,
Right.
hate Israel. For me, Trump was, with him, there were no wars, no problem. And I think because he knew he's going to be kicked out, the liberals are going to take over. They're going to try to do whatever they can to win. And they did. I don't think he had a choice. And I don't even know if, my gosh, I mean, I don't even know if the whole Operation Speed War, by the way, these jabs were already made. They
Right.
weren't operationally made so quickly. That is obviously, as you know, a bunch of BS. And they were already made because this virus was already created before. This was all gain of function research, right? I obviously, like I said, I am supportive of Robert Kennedy. I love his work for many, many, many years. He's great. Can he run the country like Trump? I don't know. Is he as strong? I don't know. Is he loved? Absolutely, yes. Would I choose for him? I would choose for both. I would take both and put them together. That would be
Well,
amazing.
that would be the best team, but
That would be the best
unfortunately,
team.
that's not going to
Right,
happen. I wish it would,
right.
because I would
Listen,
be
I don't
totally
know what to
for
tell you about the whole Trump, and I think he was just like, you got to do this, and that's what you have to do. And he was being told. He
Yeah.
really didn't have much choice. I don't think so. He didn't want to shut the country down. He was told that he had to. He didn't want to do a lot of things. He actually didn't care about this virus until
Right.
Fauci and all these people were forcing him to. It wasn't his choice. He was literally forced to, in my opinion, and from what I've seen. So
I do hope people read the real Anthony Fauci book. I'm on hour 3 of the book
definitely.
tape, and it's very eye-opening to what they did with treatment before and how they outsourced ivermectin and wouldn't let that be, used as a treatment, how they wouldn't be, let hydroxychloroquine be used as a treatment, and they outsourced that way. And, for Trump's credit, to his credit, he did push hydroxychloroquine at the beginning.
Trying to push all these, right?
He did say that bleach was going to help you too, and that was kind of, and
He
I
was
know
joking.
tongue in
I don't
cheek.
doubt it. Come
Yeah, I
on.
know it was tongue in cheek, but the liberals use anything they can get as
Of
ammunition,
course. Of
and
course.
that's the problem there. But uh, I want to get to these last two questions. I just had to ask you that because I know you're a
Yeah.
Trump person, and again, I
Listen,
am
I'm a
not against.
Kennedy and Trump, but I got pissed
Yes.
off when he was set to trial and when he was convicted felon for 34 counts for nothing, where in fact the current one should be a convicted felon, along
I
with
agree.
Ouchie and
Yeah.
Biden's son and all these horrible, evil people that shouldn't even be there. These are the ones who should be standing to trial and be in jail, not Trump. He didn't do anything wrong.
Well,
That's why I was so mad. Fauci
Fauci,
should be in jail.
this is like 1943 in
And for that.
Germany of what he did, as far as murdering people all over the world.
Right.
And
That's what
I
he's
hope
done
this
all of his
isn't
life.
I hope this isn't offensive to somebody that's Jewish, such as yourself, but what they did is basically like the Holocaust under wraps. They
Exactly.
murdered millions of people in a 3-year time frame. It's still going on with the turbo cancers. This is disgusting. It's not being spoken about. And this is really a Holocaust of what's happened. I think it's disgusting. And this isn't just Israelis. This is people all over the world that have been murdered and keep dying due to having faith that if they took a medicine, if they believed in people that they voted for, that were trying to, put them in the right direction so they could go to a concert or go out, and the list goes on and on. Now they're dying. They're being murdered. I think every day of what's in my body. And I'm trying to be as healthy as possible, work out, eat the right things, take the right vitamins, talk to the right people. And that's all you can personally do if you've taken this medicine. But it's really disgusting. And I believe that's what it is. And again, I hope that didn't offend you. I hope that didn't offend anybody that's
No, you
listening.
can't
But I
defend it
believe that this
unless
is a low key
yeah.
Holocaust.
It's 100%. But remember, it's not Trump's fault. It's Fauci. They're the
No,
ones
well, that's what I'm saying. It's
pushing it.
not even just Fauci. This is also
Mostly.
in the Defense Department. They were the ones that brought this out. This is going back to 2014 where this started. And even though I don't like the person that was before President Trump as president, I do give him credit that he tried to put a stop on the gain of function, but they did ignore him as far as Fauci and Ralph Barrick. The list goes on and on of these guys that are really criminals, and not just again in this country, but around the world. I want to
Right.
talk about um, Chris Cuomo. We see Chris Cuomo's running around talking about long COVID. At the beginning, he was vaccine injured. Now he's not. He did a whole podcast, about three
Now he's
hours with
not. He
Dave
said he
Smith
is.
on PBD about vaccine injury, about long COVID, about Dr. Fauci. And he seems like he hasn't changed since he's been at CNN, rather. I had some hope that maybe we could get somewhere with him because he has somewhat of a big name. But again, he hasn't changed really since CNN. I watched that whole 3 hours. It was a total joke. And that other guy, got him and really knocked him around like a piece of paper. So with that, at least he's talking about, I will give him credit on News Nation, but no one watches that. We also see Brianne Dressing, React 19. There's been some articles in the New York Times that have came out in the past year or two about vaccine injury. Again, these aren't great, but they're, okay at least. Do you feel like this is a movement of things to come with Fauci and all these guys testifying that we might get somewhere on these injuries and the death and destruction of what happened in the past 4 years, or this is kind of some media charade, and then when the election comes, it'll end?
I honestly don't know. I really hope that more truth comes out as they are showing more and more, testimonials and truth and statements and facts, and we're seeing more of it. I'm hoping we're in the right, direction, obviously, for more of the truth to come out, it's coming out. Will they officially ever admit? Maybe,
No.
maybe not. I don't think so. Um, I mean, even under oath, I forgot. I don't recall. Like, that's all he has to say. So we know the truth. We know the truth. Many people are woken up to it now, and they're starting to see there's the lies that have been told and the sham and scam about his whole jab, and PCR testing, 97% false positive. Come on, we knew that, but this is what shut the world down,
But there's
Um,
people still dying, and they're depending on, doctors to do the research. So hopefully they can have some help. And the government is not helping them at all. People like you and Dr. McCullough, Dr. Harvey Reich, these are the people in the wellness company, again, twc.health, check it out, that are really trying to help people move forward in their life. Again, there's no one answer because everybody has different symptoms and different issues. But again, we are grateful to people like you and the rest of the doctors, Dr. Tapper too, at the wellness company that are trying to help people move forward as best as they can. And that's the problem, that it's just people like you, and it's not the regular medical establishment that is trying to do the research, that is trying to push good medical science in the journals to help people be successful in life and move forward. They just want to hurt you with the jab and then put you on a medicine for the rest of your life so you can keep paying for that medicine. And that's the cure. It's hurt you and we'll give you a cure. And that cure will have side effects. You have to take something else. So you're on like 10 or 11 medicines and it's just a big joke. I don't know if you have anything to say. If not, we'll end with the last question.
um, yeah, I mean, it is a big joke about these vaccines and about the whole thing. It's don't take it, run away from it, heal yourself, like I said, avoid it, and don't fall for the next trap because there will be a next one. And that's just a preparation, as they've always warned us. But I think again, the world has woken up and is still waking up. They won't be able to fool us like they tried. I wasn't fooled. I knew exactly what I was getting into.
Yeah.
Um, Many unfortunately were, and they didn't do the research, but I'm hoping more and more now will do.
What do you hope people learn from our talk today? We've talked about a bunch of different things. I do hope people personally learn about detoxing, but besides, I'm sure you feel the same way. But besides that, what do you hope people learn from our conversation?
Um, I hope they really do learn to always advocate for themselves, right? Do
Mhm.
your homework, do your research. Don't just go like this with anything you're told, especially in the news, online. Always question, always, because there's always something behind something, right? Listen to the holistic doctors better. We will tell you the truth. The wellness company will tell you the truth. We won't lie to you. We won't tell you, go get jabbed or force you into something. If you know something is forced, you know it's not good for you because you should always have the freedom to choose what to put in your body, my choice, my freedom. So you should always be aware that your body is your shrine and you should always know what you're putting in it and always research. Just like you go and look for organic strawberries or you're going to get, I don't know, a car seat for your baby. Also research what is in those jabs for yourself, for your children. Don't just go blindfolded because if you do, then you can never go back to having said, oh my gosh, I wish I didn't. I wish I never took it. It's too late. So make sure you research, make sure you are your own best doctor and advocate, and also take care of your immune system.
It's only
So,
my body, my choice for abortion, not for jabs.
yeah,
That's what the
exactly.
liberals say. So
It's ridiculous.
just to
Yeah,
correct the record on
yeah,
that.
right.
But we'll end there. Again, for people listening, Dr. Hadar, thevibrantglow.com. Again, thevibrantglow.com. Again, twc.health/fire for 10% off spike support emergency medical kit. Also, many other the nutraceuticals that they sell there. Dr. Hadar, thanks so much for your time. It's always a pleasure to
Thank
have
you.
you on and speak with you.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And also my Instagram is somewhere where I'm mostly found, and that's dr.hadarsophia. dr.hadarsophia. That's my Instagram too.
All right, Dr. Hadar Sophia on Instagram. Definitely check her out. Thanks so much, Doc.
Thank you.